By the end of this video, you're going to learn the single best exercise to help lower your blood pressure. You will learn all the details, and I will put the links to the research down in the description for you. And for these exercises, I'm going to give you how often to do them, the sets, the number of reps. I'll give that to you at the end of the video. And then wait till the end of the video because I'm going to give you my own personal opinion of what I think you should be doing to improve your cardiovascular fitness and get your blood pressure to normal. Is it high intensity exercise, cycling, swimming, walking, weightlifting? We're gonna find out. This is very important because the level at which blood pressure became high blood pressure changed radically in the year 2017. Now in 1970, for example, high blood pressure was considered something that you would medicate when someone had blood pressure of 160/90, or back then they also used for the systolic number 100 plus your age. So if you were 70 years old, 170 was the range where it was considered acceptable. Then when I was in school, they changed the numbers to 140/90 instead of 160/90. And so when I got out of school 30 years ago, the number that you would start to talk to the patient about and say, hey, listen, your blood pressure is getting high, you may want to consider medication, was 140/90. And then 2017 came around and they changed the guidelines again. You're just going to have to get used to this, that medicine and healthcare is always a changing environment. What we think is important now and what's researched now very often will be disproven, and later on we change our minds. So currently, you're basically going to get spanked at your doctor's office if your blood pressure is over 120/80. That's right, it's encouraged to get people's blood pressure below 120/80. If you are 130/80, you're probably going to be given medication. The reason this is important is because high blood pressure is a very important risk factor for heart attacks and strokes. You definitely don't want to be dead or lying in a nursing home just drooling with half your body unable to move. That's the problem, is we don't want to have heart attacks, we don't want to have strokes, we want to have a healthy, long life as best we can. And if your blood pressure is starting to go way up, then you are at risk of having a heart attack or stroke. Now there are 4 different types of workouts with different benefits, and we're going to go over each and every one. The first type of exercise is high intensity interval training, and this is usually something that is extremely difficult for most people and not recommended to start out with. And that is where you will run or row or ride a bike or swim as fast as humanly possible for maybe 30 seconds to 1 minute. You will go as fast as you humanly can. You will act as if a lion or a tiger was chasing you, just balls to the wall as hard as you can go. And then after that minute is up, then you will go very, very easy, maybe just a walking pace or resting for about a minute. Then you will do another minute as hard as you possibly can, and then go easy. So you go super hard and super easy, super hard and super easy. That's called high intensity interval training. The advantage of high intensity interval training and the benefits are that you can stimulate the fast twitch muscle fibers and raise your VO2 max, which is a measurement of how much oxygen you can use in your lungs when you exercise. The benefit of this is, longevity-wise, the people with the highest VO2 max tend to live the longest. So I'm going to do intervals on my bicycle, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to a location about 30 minutes away. I'm going to have a clear place where I'm not going to be impeded by traffic or cars or anything like that, so I could really go for it. And my goal is to get faster on the bike as well as health benefits. When I do this, I have to psych myself up because my goal is to hurt. Remember in Rocky 3 when the interviewer asked Clubber Lang before the fight, do you have a prediction? And Clubber goes, do I have a prediction? And he looks at the camera and he goes, pain. That's my goal. Ultimately, when you're doing this, when I'm done with the interval, I want to see Jesus. If I'm not doing that, then it's not intense enough. High intensity interval training has to be intense. So let's get it on.
Oh God. All right. All right, so now I just did a minute. I'm just gonna pedal super easy now. And that way, after a minute, I'll catch my breath, heart rate goes down, and then we nail it again. I'll do it about 6 times today, and that's all I could take. So, whew. And that's how it's done.
The second type of exercise is what's called steady state cardio. And where this compares is like with the high intensity interval training, when you go super high and super easy. With steady state exercise, your heart rate and your effort would be a continuous exercise throughout the entire duration of the exercise. And the exercise could be 30 minutes, 1 hour, depending on your fitness levels. The benefit of steady state exercise is that it strengthens your heart and strengthens your cardiovascular system, as well as stimulating nitric oxide in your blood vessels. And what that does is it helps dilate and relax your blood vessels and allows you to lower your blood pressure as well.
Hey, what's up? One of the easiest ways to do steady state exercise, just pick something you like. For most people, it could be walking, like I'm doing now. And what you do is you just go for a walk, and you're not window shopping, but you're not running, and you're not race walking. The way to know if you're doing steady state correctly is if you can talk like I'm doing right now, but it's a little bit labored. And if you try for about 10 seconds, you could breathe through your nose. And if you check your heart rate monitor, if you have one of these watches or something like that, it's getting dark all of a sudden. If you have one of these watches, like an Apple Watch, that you can check your heart rate, if you do 180 minus your age, that's the heart rate that you should be walking, where you're doing good exercise for your heart and your cardiovascular system. You're burning primarily fat, and that's the best way to do steady state type of exercise.
The third type of exercise would be weight training. And this is traditionally, you'd think of lifting 3 sets of exercise between the rep range of 8 to 12 repetitions. This is primarily has the benefit of strengthening your muscles and tendons as well as your bones. You get stronger, you build more muscle, and that raises your basal metabolic rate. So let me show you my weight training area. This is very, very simple. You don't need a lot of weights or anything like that, depending on what your goals are, but to basically get a little bit strong, let me show you what I have. I have here a weightlifting bench, and this is primarily for my legs, so I can do leg curls, leg extensions, and this is a good bench. I also have right here, these are my bands. I also have some other bands over here that I use as a way to exercise. And then my weights are very simple. I just have them down here. I have various dumbbells of different sizes so that I could use them. The great thing about these dumbbells is that right here you could see this thing just kind of comes off like that, and then I can add or subtract weight. So the benefit of that is that in a very small space, I can do quite a bit of weight training. And so that's how I personally do it. Some people like to go to a gym. I like calisthenics and a little bit of weights. Works for me. The last type of exercise, the fourth type of exercise, would be an isometric exercise. And this is where you would contract muscles against resistance, but there would be no movement whatsoever. And we're going to go over now 3 exercises. The first isometric exercise that we're going to talk about is the wall sit. And you could do this up against a wall. I'm going to demonstrate this up against the car because in my house, we still are having a little trouble So I'm just going to show you could do this in multiple places. Now the wall sit is very important because it's considered the one that reduces the blood pressure the most. I would recommend doing all three for overall strength, but this is the first one we're going to start with. So let me show you exactly how to do it. So what you're going to do is put your feet about shoulder width apart and about your femur length away from the wall or the supporting structure. And what you'll do is you want to try to make sure that you are at about 90 degrees. So you lean up against the wall, your feet are shoulder width apart, and you're going to just sit here in the wall sit. That's why it's called the wall sit, because you're up against the wall. If you are unable to do this or don't have enough leg strength to do this, then what you can do is you can simply come up a little bit like this, or you can move your feet a little bit farther away. Don't be very careful moving your feet away though, because if you're on a slippery surface, your feet can slide out from underneath you, down goes you on the ground, and now you've either got a broken hip or a broken pelvis. The best thing to do would be to make sure the tibia or the shin bones are at least 90 degrees and just come up a little. You could start here, for example, and then as you get stronger, you would lower yourself down lower and lower until your knees are 90 degrees. The next exercise that was in the studies that I put down in the description was a leg extension machine. There's numerous ways you could do this. I'm going to show you how I can do it in my garage, but there's different ways and I'll give you all the options. So first let me show you the leg extension and how it's properly done. This is a leg extension machine. What you can do is you can put a lot of weight on the machine so that you have no movement whatsoever, and you would get into the machine like this. Then you would hold on to the sides and then you can press against this machine, and again, you're not doing any movement of the thighs themselves, but you are pressing like this. If this bothers your knees because you have a lot of arthritis, one other option would be to put enough weight that you can lift it a little bit and then hold the position. Now if you hold it up about 45 degrees at an angle right there, this position is something that you can hold as an isometric exercise, and again, that was how it was done in the studies. Now of course, if you don't have this machine, then there's other options. One option would be to take a purse or a backpack and use that as your weight. So in this particular case, what you could do is you could take your purse or backpack and just hold it out like this. You could literally watch TV and do your isometrics to help with your blood pressure. That's an option. You just need a backpack or purse that's heavy enough to cause enough contraction of the muscle. So now I'm in my house and I'm going to show you the third exercise that you can do, which is a hand gripper. Before we do that, check out my stairs. These are awesome. Let's walk. Seriously though, I love these stairs. Do you love these stairs, honey?
I do.
Yeah. Now with this one, you could literally use anything, but I like these types of things. I'll put a link down below on Amazon. You can get these for really cheap. And they're the old-fashioned exercisers. And what happens is, if you want to do an isometric exercise, the thing I like about this is you can turn this knob right here and make it easier or harder depending on how much strength you want. Oh man, that's tough. But what you will do is you will put your arm at about 90 degrees like this, just keep it on your belly. And what you'll do is you'll squeeze this and you're gonna hold this position. So the whole point of an isometric contraction is there's no movement. So you don't wanna be going back and forth like this. You want to just press it and hold it for the desired amount of time. These are nice because, like I said, if someone has not exercised in a long time, you can make this super easy or super difficult depending on your strength level. And as you get stronger, you can extend this piece right here and make it more difficult, and that would be a great benefit for you. So in all of these static contractions, all of these isometric contractions, what you would do is you would do 2-minute contractions with a 2 to 3 minute rest in between. You do 4 sets, So 4 times 2 is 8, so it'd be a total of 8 minutes of exercise. You do this 3 times a week for 8 weeks. And when you do these exercises, you want to do them about 50% of your strength levels. Now let's get to the part where I give you my personal opinion, and that is we really should be doing all these exercises because we're very often looking for what's the exercise, the one exercise that I should do that would lower my blood pressure, and lowering your blood pressure would be great. However, that doesn't necessarily translate into strong muscles, a good basal metabolic rate, keeping the fat off, keeping your heart healthy and your cardiovascular system healthy. So in my humble opinion, you should do interval training, you should do weights, you should do cardiovascular and steady state exercises, as well as if you are having some blood pressure problems, you can also put in the isometric exercises. But this does not mean that all you need to do is a wall squat, a plank, and a grip strengthener, and that's all the exercise that you need. Just like how they change the guidelines for blood pressure numbers, eventually we're going to start doing research that's going to discredit the current research and find out that, yeah, we should have been doing some cardiovascular exercise just like we usually thought. So in my humble opinion, to be the healthiest person that you could possibly be, it would be beneficial to do all the different types of exercises and fit them in a little bit throughout the week rather than just emphasizing one over the other. So if you're not checking your blood pressure on a regular basis and you want to get a high quality, accurate blood pressure machine that's affordable, then look in the description at the bottom of the video and I'll put a link to one that I think is a really good one that's super affordable that you could use for a long period of time. Now in this video we were talking about the exercise that you can do, but if you'd like to know what is the best diet that you can follow that would improve your cardiovascular fitness, then watch this video right here about the best diet for your heart and cardiovascular system. It's a good one. You're gonna like it. So click this box right now. Now!